one last time around the racetrack. The final is about to go green with Noah Belleville on the front row. The flag will fly at Homestead-Miami. One more race, one more awesome challenge. We are green at Homestead-Miami. It's official now, 3 championships in a row, 3-time champion, and now the record-holding champion. The pride of Dobson, North Carolina, Aiden Norman. Remember that name. This guy is, as far as esports, as far as iRacing is concerned, Aiden Norman's going to be something. He will be something, and who knows? I've been wrong a lot, but I really, really hope I'm right this time around. And then if it weren't for Noah Belleville, Aiden Norman would have won 48 races out of the 16 races this season. Belleville with an interesting driver suit that we'll get to here in just a moment. But Noah Belleville running part-time this season. But he has the greatest win ratio to starts. 4 wins this season, and I think 3 of those wins came in the first 7 races of the season, if I'm not wrong. It's been fantastic watching this little freak go around the racetrack, and he is a little freak of nature because nobody has a hit rate like he does. Noah Belleville's cooking on this racetrack. And now he's trying to get around, I was going to say defending champion, but there will be no defending champion. Aiden Norman moving on to bigger and better things. I think he's going on to do the Contender Series. And Norman's going to be hoping to do well in that. So his Thursdays will be occupied next season. To the hope of most everybody else, because as talented as he is, you see a guy win 7 times, and it really just starts to get on your nerves. And he's gotten on a lot of people's nerves. But let me tell you, there's nobody that knows the rule book like this guy. There's absolutely nobody that has the skill he does. And I mean, save for Noah Belleville, who's right on his tail, but come on, 7 wins in a single season? That's ridiculous. There's only one other driver who's gotten that many wins, and it's now Tom Sears in the number 14 car. Sears had kept it really, really close last season, and there you see he was running, currently is running 6th in the point standings coming into this race here, and the 2-time champion definitely gives it everything that he's got now, and the pride of Southampton, Mass. Always repping the league he loves in the number 14 ARCS Supra. Coming up behind Rookie of the Year, Brandon Fetterplace, and the Cincinnati native sits 3rd in the point standings. I mean 3rd in the point standings. A rookie. The number 34 Camry on the outside of the 2-time champion. No wins yet this season, but an average finish of 6th. And he's got the 2nd highest average finish of every driver inside of the top 14 in points, save for Noah Belleville with 4 wins this season. But this new guy doing big things in TNT, and we're going to see him in Season 8. Landon's in the house tonight. If you've just tuned in, you have not missed a thing. The first 8 laps have gone caution-free, and surprise, surprise, at the front, it's the pride of Dobson, North Carolina. Aiden Norman leading the way, and now he's stretching out that lead over Noah Belleville in the 14. Let's go on board with the Haas Chevy. Couple 700 horsepower trips around Homestead-Miami never hurt anybody, right? Noah Belleville sitting second and now challenging race leader Aiden Norman. A couple tenths of a second is all that separates them. Coming out of turn number 4, Norman gives it a bit of a wiggle. And that 6'2" infantry Dodge looking strong up at the front. And Norman shouting out his old infantry racing league from the Xbox side of things. 3-time champion. That's just fantastic. While the 2-time champion goes to the inside of Fort Lauderdale's Ryan Pennell in the 1-2. The local driver about 2 hours up north. From South Florida, but a big fan of the Georgia Bulldogs, Ryan Pennell. Repping for Homestead, repping for the state of Florida altogether. Now coming up behind that 1-4 of Tom Sears. And on the outside, they fight for the 9th position. Sears up 3 places from where he started. Now trying to squeeze between Pennell and the 6 of Tommy Withers, the Virginian, in that Ford Mustang decaled ARCA car. Is it still the ARCA car? Are we calling it Gen 4 now? Who cares? Here's from Withers' back bumper. I think it's 1 win in TNT for Tommy Withers, but Withers definitely one of the guys that's been with us for a very, very long time, and that win came at Daytona in season 4, I think, as Brandon Fetter placed the Rookie of the Year. Just brings it back into line. You want to talk about a points battle. Fetter placed sitting in 3rd, 1 point ahead of Toby Estes, the Bluegrass Bandit, in that number 8 Budweiser Chevrolet. Toby was throwing his hat into the championship fight. Alas, he will finish outside the top 2, but 1 point behind Brandon Fetterplace, and it is money. There is prize money for the top 3. Money on the line for the number 8 of Toby Estes. And he sits ahead of other Bluegrass Bandit, Briley Wright, who's in the wall. The Good Wrench Chevrolet is going to put it up into the wall in the TNT final. And he's going to have to keep it moving once again, right in that 2-9 machine. Bringing the title fight all the way down to last week at the Talladega Superspeedway. Aiden Norman going a lap down, almost buying the farm through that entire race. But it wasn't enough in the end. Briley Wright locked himself into 2nd place in the championship just by starting tonight's race. And he sits 4th right now behind Toby Estes in that number 8 Budweiser Chevrolet. Estes has been creeping up to Noah Belleville, however. Look at that, the gap. 0.184 seconds, so almost 0.2 of a second. Toby Estes sits behind Noah Belleville that last time around, but he's been chipping away. Faster than Briley Wright, faster than Noah Belleville. That last time, the gap was 0.4 of a second. And Briley Wright now faster than Toby Estes on that last lap. So that tells you now that Toby is holding back. He is within the range to strike at Noah Belleville, and we'll see just what Toby does. Let's ride on board with the number 8. Estes now to the inside of Belleville in that 41, trying to get a good run off the corner. Further back, Matthew Kent now coming up on Donald Ray in that number 5. The Season 4 Texas winner in the Exalta Chevrolet sitting ahead of that 31. And then Richie Catania, another one of Florida's finest, coming to race tonight. The 2-4 DuPont Chevrolet. I was talking about Monday. That car is easily the best looking car here, and I will hear absolutely nothing else about it. Just a gorgeous race car that Richie's driving. that car is something else. It really is. Elridge George. I guess you could call this his home race as well. George comes from Nassau in the Bahamas. He's in that number 40 Dodge behind Richie Catania in the 2-4. One of these days, we got to get Elridge George to these ARCS corporate meetings that we have. Would love to see him. You want to talk about a guy with a fighting spirit. You want to talk about a guy that does not give up. He will try to finish every single race. It doesn't matter how torn up his race car is. And you know what I love about him is that he's always got a chance. In his mind, there's always a chance for him to make that pass. And Elridge George just, he does not give up, and he never thinks he's out of it until the very end. You got to love that spirit. And I think, bar none, he has the most Thursday Night Thunder starts for any Bahamian driver. He has all the Thursday Night Thunder starts for any Bahamian driver. So long may the tradition continue. And now, how about the tradition for fighting for second place? Is that a tradition? I have no idea, but Toby Estes has passed Noah Belleville for the first spot. Let's see how he pulled this off. Bluegrass Bandits now in the silver medal spot. The 8 of Estes brings it around on the 41 of Belleville. He's now in second, and so let's see what Toby's going to do on Aiden Norman now. That last time around, Toby Estes was 2.5 tenths slower than Aiden Norman, who's out by 2.7 seconds now. It's not even fair sometimes, is it? But my God, this guy can just drive this car. It's fantastic. But Aiden, just 3 seconds ahead of Toby Estes now coming to the line. We'll see what the clock says this time around. Aiden Norman, 0.3 of a second quicker than Toby Estes. That's just fantastic. Tommy Withers trying to get one on Rookie of the Year, Brandon Fetterplace. Let's see how these two work it out. Fetterplace is going to rise out of turn number 2, and that's going to give Withers a really good run into 3. Watch this. Withers still chasing down the 34 of Fetterplace into that third corner. Donald Ray sitting in that 4th position now to the inside of Briley Wright. And Briley kind of just dropping off here. Maybe he picked up some damage from that earlier contact. Landon saying he's trying to get a repeat of Michigan a few weeks back. Aiden Norman with his self-proclaimed emergency had him otherwise occupied and could not complete the 29 laps of the race at Michigan, and that put the Bluegrass Bandits on a winning spree. Just nuts what the Bluegrass Bandits did at that. Toby Estes winning at Michigan. The week after that, Briley Wright wins at Rockingham. The week after that, Briley Wright wins at Atlanta. And then Noah Belleville wins at Martinsville. But 3 straight wins for the Bluegrass Bandits. Just fantastic. And Noah Belleville's actually into the pits. Something's going on with that 41 car. He's going to come to a halt. He's overshot the pits now. And Belleville. What's going on here? With the Super Mario Brothers for his pit crew. He's down. He's away. There's the driver of the 41. And then Noah Belleville. Mario race suit or not, he's going to blink like it's nobody's business, but he's unbelievably fast. He's got fresh tires on that 41. The Drip Diecast and Collectibles track facts predicting 35. to 45 laps on a green flag run, but we definitely overshot it if that's the start of green flag laps. Maybe he's trying to make an undercut of some sort. We'll see what the time says this time around. 28 laps, green, no cautions. Briley Wright about to be overtaken by Matt Kent. There's Wright just trying to hold on to that race car on the outside. Matt Kent in that 31 Budweiser Chevy. Some funky looking headlights on that 31. Coming down the front straight. And one RCR numbered machine will overtake the other through turn number 1. Briley Wright praying for a caution or just trying to hold on until the fuel runs out in that race car. The 2-9. Sitting in 5th, and two-time champion Tom Sears smells blood in the water. And how about Salem, South Carolina's Jason Alexander? Jayco's a TNT staple, man. Jayco is part of the TNT fabric. He's been here, I'm pretty sure he's been here since season 1 as well. So he's going 7 seasons strong. And it literally is always a party when Jason Alexander shows up, bar none. He's sitting in 4th right now, ahead of the rookie Brandon Fetterplace. And what a season it's been for car 34. Trying to get one more. Toby Estes decides he's going to come in. Briley Wright also going to come in. So drivers, 30 laps is what they're going to do on one green flag run. 5 laps shy of the predicted pit strategy. Matthew Kent, now your new leader in car 31. Ryan Pennell from nearby. I say nearby. It's a 2-hour drive, isn't it? Ryan Pennell from Fort Lauderdale sitting in the 2nd position while Matthew Kent leads. New Jersey's Tristan Catania sits in 3rd. Last time around, Matthew Kent coming out of turn number 4. Matthew Kent did 34.93 last time on the clock. This time across the line, Matthew Kent does 34.77. Noah Belleville last time across, 33.14. So that's Noah Belleville, 1.6 seconds quicker than Matt Kent. But now, mind you, Belleville with fresh tires. Kent has yet to pit. Tristan Catania gives up 3rd place. Here's race leader when the pit stop started, Aiden Norman. Norman in the 2nd spot, and that's 6-2. Matt Kent is in. There's Ryan Pennell. He's also coming in at the speed of sound. He's going to pick up a penalty if he's not careful. And waiting for the 6-2 car to come up off of turn number 4. There's Aiden Norman, who is 1.2 seconds ahead of Noah Belleville, but Norman is on fresh tires, and this is the undercut that Belleville tried. Remember, Noah Belleville pitted on lap 25. 5 laps sooner than just about everybody else. He sits in 2nd now. Toby Estes goes green. 32.81 for the Bluegrass Bandit. Fastest lap of the race for him. Tom Sears, 32.87. Donald Ray, 33.11. There's your lap times. Last time around, 4 drivers went green. There's 2nd through 8th and where they pitted. Aiden Norman in that list. He pitted on lap 29. Noah Belleville pitted 4 laps prior to him. And it's now 2.1 seconds back to Noah Belleville in 2nd, although now Toby Estes trying to reel in the Missouri pilot over the last 5 laps. Look at that, Toby. Almost 4 tenths quicker than Noah Belleville, so the math will tell you Toby should get there to the back bumper of the 41 in about 4 to 5 laps. I mean, at the rate he's going, it's going to be quicker than that. Look at that. Almost 0.4 of a second consistently. Donald Ray goes green again, 33.03. He sits ahead of rookie Brandon Fetterplace in the 6th position. Ray 3 seconds behind two-time champion Tom Sears. How about this threesome? Fetterplace, Alexander, Kent, all nose to tail through turn 1 and 2, and Kent wants to break the centipede. He's going to come on the outside of that 56. Jason Alexander tries to get a draft, but Alexander will slot right between the two of them, and it's going to be an Alexander sandwich between the Camry and the Monte Carlo of Fetterplace and Kent. Out of turn number 4 now, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, separated by 3 seconds, and then these 3 drivers separated by half of those 3 seconds. Throw Tommy Withers in that mix. The number 6 Mustang now trying to catch up to that 31. Ray keeps getting faster, 33 seconds flat. He's getting quicker. Got to look out for him. Caution free so far in the first 38 laps of competition. If you've just tuned in, you have not missed a thing. It continues to be the Aiden Norman show at the front of this race. Three and a half seconds the gap between first and second, but now it's 0.4 between first and second. Noah Belleville has Toby Estes right on his back bumper. Estes is right there. He is right on Belleville's back bumper. Through 1 and 2, Estes wants a piece of that 41. Belleville tries to close him off, and it is that close. Oh, and Landon reminding me that I took the gap off the tower there. Thank you, Landon. I appreciate that. Toby Estes couldn't do it on the left side. Now he's trying the right side. And he's going to try and get the strong side of Noah Belleville, who gives it a wiggle out of turn number 4. Toby Estes still can't make it stick, but these two are trying super hard. We'll see who gives up. Now, Belleville's on old tires, mind you. Noah Belleville pitted on lap 29 compared to Toby Estes. His tires are 4 laps more old. And quick math will tell you that Noah Belleville could be into the pits here about 5 to 6 laps sooner than Toby Estes, especially considering how hard he's been driving that car. Estes now seals second spot. So these two are going to continue to fight. They're going to continue to wrestle. Ryan Pinnell now trying to come up behind the Bahamian. I was about to say Panamanian. He's not from Panama. He's from Nassau in the Bahamas. The 40 sits ahead of the 12. It's a gap of half a second. Matthew Kent also within 1 second to another rival. Rookie Brandon Fetterplace down to the 8th spot. Kent in 7th. And we'll see just how close they can get over the coming laps. But again, pit stops are on the horizon. For a lot of these drivers, they pitted on lap 30. Now we'll see what they can do coming up to lap 60. We'll see who's learned what. Toby Estes has gotten around Noah Belleville and is just moving along. And Richie Catania in the 2-4 sits in the 14th position, 1 lap off the pace. Jason Alexander and Christian Withers, a couple of drivers who have already turned into DNFs as the race goes on. So that leaves 11 cars on the lead lap. Elrich George being the last of them. And here comes race leader Aiden Norman right behind him. So Elridge George now goes a lap down. 10 cars left on the lead lap right before the next green flag pit stop cycle, about 14 laps from now. Landon saying he hopes Estes will pit before Norman, maybe give him a leg up. And Toby Estes is now 4.5 seconds behind Aiden Norman. To give him a leg up, Toby's going to have to pit early enough to where if Toby Estes were to pit now, between the time Toby Estes comes out of the pits and Aiden Norman comes out of the pits, he would have to drive enough to make up the 4.7 second gap between first and second. It's plausible. Is it possible? Well, and I'm cynical, so no. But anything could honestly happen. I mean, again, I know we joke about it, Landon, but look back to Michigan. Anything is absolutely possible, but that's why we love sports. That's why we love racing, isn't it? Speaking of sports, I completely forgot there's a football game on, so we'll turn on the Chargers and the Raiders. It is 20. Oh my God, it's 21-0 in the second quarter. What happened? It's, 11:38 to go in the second quarter, and it's going to be second and something for Los Angeles here. So we'll see what happens. Chargers fans, if you're here, make some noise. Raiders fans, if you're here, make some noise. If you're just like football, say something. Tell me who you got in the chat. Aiden Norman leading this race by 5.25 seconds over Toby Estes. Noah Belleville sits in the third position. 9 seconds beyond the podium positions is the 2.9 of Briley Wright. Tom Sears, the two-time champion, trying to sneak up to one of 2 Bluegrass Bandits in tonight's race. Landon was asking about the third one, Cody Riggs, saying, where is he? Where is the number 3? Not on tonight's roster, unfortunately. And Tom Sears gets into the wall, and he's going to celebrate the end of Season 8 with a scar on the right-hand side. Look at the way he just shakes that car, just really hanging the tail out of the corner. Donald Ray level with Tom Sears last time around, and Sears almost a tenth quicker than Briley Wright, but Tom Sears keeps getting into the wall out of the corner, and we'll see what the clock says this time around. And that time through, Tom Sears 4/10 slower than Briley Wright, so a little bit of catching up to do for Tomo, but he can get there. Jimmy Kerr the third, the next on Ryan Pennell's radar, the driver of the 75. Sitting in 12th right now. And it's this driver here, Tristan Catania, who's now the lucky dog. He just got put a lap down by Aiden Norman. Norman again leading by 5.5 seconds now, and that's kind of plateaued. But he did have to get around Tristan Catania, who's just a bit slower than the race leader. 4th and 7 now for San Diego. It's not San Diego, it's Los Angeles, isn't it? 4th and 7 now. That proves to you that I know absolutely nothing about football, that I still think they play in San Diego. It was 4th and 7. The Chargers punted the ball, and the Raiders return it for a good little chunk there. So I think they're going to start on the 30-something. And the Las Vegas Raiders leading 21-0 with 10:46 to go in the second quarter. Pennell has caught up to Kurt. And the number 12, Georgia Bulldogs pilot, will now try to overtake the 75 of JK3, Jimmy Kurt the third. This is the battle for 12th. And that didn't take long at all. Ryan Pennell now into the 12th position in the 12 car. Climbing up the ladder and trying to catch up to Elridge George. Briley Wright got into the wall, and now Tom Sears has caught up to him. So now the 14 wants a piece of the 2.9. That also didn't take long. Tom Sears up to 4th by way of a mistake from the 2.9. And these two guys have really just been running the wall all race long. Look at Briley. He's trying to get into the inside of the 14. And the Sears car will hold him off. Tom Sears will hold him off in that ARCS Supra. Look at Briley. He's going to send it to the inside. He's a madman now. It's unbelievable. Wright's going to go to the inside, and he's going to take 4th place away from Tom Sears. Now out of turn number 2 and down the back straight. Wright to the inside, Sears on the outside, and it looks like Wright has it this time down that front straight. Riley Wright will clear Tom Sears headed into turn number 1. Great racing by these two. Riley Wright in the 4th position. 3/10 ahead of Tom Sears, and I was going to say he's starting to pull away, but he just did the biggest tail whip I've seen all night long. Tom Sears will now get to the inside, and these two will race again. Tomo's got it now, going through turns 3 and 4. Sears with a bit of a shake out of turn number 4. Riley Wright will get him again. These two are giving it everything right before pit stops. Check this out. Oh, Sears wiggles. Look at the wheel. Look at the orange tape on the wheel. He is just struggling out of the corner. Not to mention Riley Wright's gigantic tail whip out of turn number 2. And Briley has held on to it for a couple of laps now, so it's safe to say that the 29 has secured 3rd place. But in all of that awesome driving, here comes Texan Donald Ray in the 5 car. He's going to get to the inside of Tom Sears, or will he? Let's go on board with Ray. And he's going to scrape the wall. How about Donald Ray clearing Matt Kent out of turn number 4, and now he's going for the 2-time champion Tom Sears. Ray to the inside, and now Riley Wright is in this mix too. 3rd through 6th separated by less than a second. Wright 3rd, Sears 4th, Donald Ray in 5th. This is what the world looks like from the back end of that 2-9. They're coming into the pits, and green flag pit stops. Everybody's in. Look at Tom Sears. He smacks the barrier. Coming into the pits, the 14 has overcooked it. He's now putting it in reverse as Tommy Withers now tries to catch up to him. Sears will slam the race car against that wall some more. Sears had it. He just had it. Just a little too hot coming into the pits. Matt Kent, now your new leader in the number 31 Budweiser Chevrolet. He's going to stay out and give it a big tail whip out of turn number 4. Rookie Brandon Fetterplace is on the way into the pits. Defending champion Aiden Norman back out on the racetrack after pitting on lap number 60. He's in 3rd. Fetterplace is in. He will relinquish 2nd. And Matt Kent will stay out and gamble on the caution. Noah Belleville also out on the racetrack. He came in 2 laps before Aiden Norman, so he stretched it out to lap 58. Tristan Catania now up to 4th. He has not pitted on this recent cycle. Ryan Pennell also hasn't pitted on this recent cycle. The Homestead driver, the Fort Lauderdale driver, what am I thinking? Racing at Homestead, repping the Georgia Bulldogs, his beloved Georgia Bulldogs. Briley Wright pitted on Toby Estes. Good God, I'm mixing every driver up on the planet now. Toby Estes and Briley Wright are both from the same town, so it makes sense that I'd confuse the two. But anyway, Toby Estes in the number 8 Budweiser Chevrolet sneaks to the inside of Ryan Pennell and clears him easily. Pennell still riding on old tires. Sits in 5th right now. Tristan Catania into the pits. Matt Kent still your race leader. And there's Aiden Norman entering turn number 3, trying to chase him down. Kent in the 31. Norman in the 62, and Landon's just said what I was thinking. We need a caution. Maybe the racing gods will look down on us and give us a little bit of drama as the night continues. Toby Estes up to 4th. Ryan Pennell 3 seconds behind him in 5th. Tommy Withers trying to keep it off the wall. Race leader Aiden Norman behind him. Withers with a tail whip out of the corner. Aiden Norman in the 62 will just sneak ahead of car number 6. And now Tommy Withers, a lap down. Rookie Brandon Fetterplace next on the race leader's radar. Matthew Kent still out on the racetrack, however, and he and Ryan Pennell are the only 2 drivers that have not pitted on this second green flag cycle. Pennell on those just ancient tires. Let's ride on board with the Georgian and see the Floridian and see how his Georgia Bulldogs car looks like from the inside. That boy is shaking out of the corner, but he's holding on to her just fine so far. Keep your eye on that 1-2. Running the high side. Elridge George behind him. Elridge George now beside him. And Elridge George has gone past him. So Ryan Pennell in the 4th position still. There is race leader Aiden Norman, or he's somewhere, I think. Well, I hope he's somewhere on the racetrack. There's Pennell trying to come into the pits, and he's destroyed the race car. Ryan Pennell enters pit lane. Remember I said last time he entered in at the speed of sound. Oh, he just puts way too... Man, that hurts. He put in way too much brake, and he slammed that race car. On board with the 1-2. Car snapped loose, and that was it. Pennell still in the pits trying to get that race car repaired. Aiden Norman now moving at 150 miles an hour through the corner while Ryan Pennell stays stationary. Noah Belleville sitting in second, 6.5 seconds beyond the race leader as Brandon Fetterplace gives up 6th to Matthew Kent. Tommy Withers now trying to chase down the rookie. Fetterplace still within strike distance to the 3-1. And Kent trying to hold off the 34. Matt Kent now able to pull away from the 34 of Brandon Fetterplace, who still has Tommy Withers to worry about. Looking at the Chargers and Raiders. Well, I couldn't tell you. Somebody just scored. It looks like it was another touchdown for the Raiders. So the Raiders are up now 28-0 with 9 minutes to go in this game. I really don't know who I picked as the favorite in this match, but I really hope it wasn't the Chargers. In any case, you know, anything's possible, right? This could be the comeback of the century for Los Angeles. It's not going to be, but it could be. 9 minutes to go in this game, and the Chargers are going to run a kickoff beyond the 20 and up to the 25-yard line. So it's going to be 1st and 10 on the 25 for Los Angeles with 9:10 to go in the second quarter. Brandon Fetterplace ahead of Tommy Withers by a quarter of a second. And the 6th car now trying to chase down driver 34. Fetterplace holding on strong with the 6th trying to invade his space. Half a second, just the gap between them. While it's 7.5 seconds, the gap from 1st to 2nd. Matthew Kent just went a lap down in the 31 car. Noah Belleville sitting in the 2nd position on an island. 7.5 seconds from Norman. 7.5 seconds from Toby Estes in the 3rd position. 11 seconds between the Bluegrass Bandits in 3rd and 4th. So the top 4 are more spread out than 5th through 10th. 27 seconds between 5th and 10th place. 28 seconds, I think. Okay, so it's close by about a second there, but it's incredibly close. Aiden Norman. It's unbelievable. It speaks for itself. I mean, he is, by championships, the most successful driver in Thursday Night Thunder. 7 seasons we're going to complete tonight. 7 seasons of racing since 2020. Matt Kent trying to go to the inside. He's got tires that are 5 laps more fresh, and Aiden Norman with a giant blink in that 6.2. When I tell you this race isn't over, I'm telling you the race isn't over. Norman has been blinking like crazy lately. Look at that. A couple of more blinks into turn number 1. Matthew Kent gets around him. Aiden Norman with 1 more record to break, and that's the single season win record. Right now he's tied with Tom Sears. 7 wins each. Aiden Norman looking to get that 8th win and claim the single season win record, but he's got to have a stable internet connection over the next 64 laps of this race. We're beyond the halfway point now. Aiden Norman has got to hold on. Tommy Withers, 0.3 seconds behind Brandon Fetterplace. These two continue to do battle. But Fetterplace perseveres nonetheless. How about Richie Catania? Now trying to get to the outside of Jimmy Kerr. This is for the 12th position. These guys fighting it out here. Catania just on the outside of Kerr, and he can't get him quite just yet. Catania hit a bump in the racetrack that sent Richie up the track. Ricardo Catania in the 2-4, now chasing Jimmy Kerr, who gets into the wall. He's got the advantage now into turn number 1. Here comes Richie. 2-4 chasing down the 7-5. Oh, Richie gives it a shake going into turn number 3. He's trying to hold on, but it looks like the 7-5 is just breaking away from Catania out of turn number 4. That is the gap. That is 0.6 of a second. A shorter gap is the one between Fetter Place and Withers. Fetter Place in that 34. Withers in the 6 coming up off of turn number 4. And they continue to fight on. Aiden Norman leading by 8.6 seconds. If you've just tuned in, you have not missed a thing. It is this man at the front, but the internet blinking continues to plague the driver of the 6-2. Will he last in this one? Noah Belleville, 8 seconds behind the race leader, Toby Estes. Trying to catch up. And still the half-second gap between Fetter Place and Withers. There's Fetter Place in that 3-4. Withers to the inside. Drivers last pitting on lap 60. We've got green flag pit stops. The third round of green flag pit stops coming up in less than 10 laps. We've already seen drivers slam, destroy their race cars against the wall in sometimes hilarious fashion. Here's Tom Sears coming into the pits his second time around. Well, that's not what we're talking about here. There's Tom Sears. Slam. Right there. He's going to turn the car around. He's going to slam it up against the wall. And then here's Ryan Pennell coming into the pits. A couple of big incidents for these drivers coming into the pits. Ryan Pennell gives it an even heavier hit right into the nose. So pit stops coming up in 5 laps. Donald Ray, the pride of Rockwall, Texas, looking to get around Greensburg, Kentucky's Briley Wright. Here's your 4th place fight. Ray clears right. And the old dog has some new tricks for the Bluegrass Bandit on the top side. Ray's got him. Only 14 more seconds for Donald Ray to catch up Toby Estes. Almost seems like a ludicrous number, but there it is. But Donald Ray's on the move. Look at that. He's already got 3/4 of a second between himself and Briley Wright. Tommy Withers starting to lose the gap back to Brandon Fetter Place, but again, pit stops on the horizon for these drivers. Drip Diecast and Collectibles track facts saying about 35 to 45 laps on one green flag run. But drivers only able to go about 30 laps on one green flag run. Noah Belleville was able to extend his run to lap 58, so we know they can go beyond that on fuel. But it's about 30 laps where the tires stop being useful. I'm excited. I'm keeping my eye on these guys. I'm super excited. And if the race stays green, drivers will be able to go to approximately lap 120 on the run. So there will be pit stops with 20 laps to go. Some drivers are definitely going to try to undercut that pit strategy as well. This next 30-lap run between laps 90 and 120 is going to set us up for that final pit stop. It's the last race of the season. There's still money on the line for 3rd place in points. 1 point is all that sits between Brandon Fetter Place and Toby Estes. Estes running in 3rd, Fetter Place in 4th. As they run, Estes gets 3rd in the standings and the prize money. Jimmy Kerr the 3rd, 9/10 of a second behind Bahamas' Elrich George, and the man from Nassau trying to hold on to that gap. Over the last 5 laps, George consistently quicker than Kerr and quicker than Tristan Catania. There's the New Jersey pilot. Fewer than 5 seconds ahead coming out of turn number 4, and Tristan does not look fast coming out of the corner. That Vice City Impala needs work. 2/10 the gap from Catania to Sears, and Elridge George 4/10 quicker than Tristan Catania. Tommy Withers is in, and green flag pit stops are underway. From 0 to 140 miles an hour, but now back to 0 again. Aiden Norman, race leader, is in the pits. It's a 10-second gap back to Noah Belleville. Will the 41 come down? He's going to try. He's coming really quickly there, but he's going to keep it under control. Brandon Fetterplace now up to 6th. Donald Ray decides he's going to stay in the pits while he's getting his car taken care of. Aiden Norman finally comes down. Here comes Noah Belleville. And there is your race leader, your new leader for the first time tonight on the top spot, Greensburg, Kentucky's Toby Estes. Matt Kent in the second position, 16 1/2 seconds behind Toby. Got the speedo up there on the right side so we can see when drivers are going to be coming down into the pits here, gauging their speed out of turn number 4. Aiden Norman, 175 miles an hour going into turn number 3. He sits in third, 21 seconds behind race leader Toby Estes. Estes last pitting on lap 60. Aiden Norman on lap 89. Last time around, Toby Estes did 35:07. We'll see just how quick Aiden Norman will be this time around the clock, but it's going to be a big gap, I promise you. 50 laps now turns into 49 laps to go in the Thursday Night Thunder final. And it's pit strategy that's ruling the game right now. Briley Wright gets around Jimmy Kerr the third. Wright is up to 10th with a big run out of the corner. Toby Estes, 182 going into turn number 3. Still has yet to pit. Last time around, Toby Estes was 2 seconds slower than Aiden Norman. Here's the gap over the last 5 laps. Last time around, Matt Kent, 2 seconds slower than Aiden Norman, who's gotten around him, and it was quick. Norman, now the race leader, as Toby Estes has decided to come into the pits, and the 8 car now looking to be overtaken by Noah Belleville, and there's Belleville into turn number 1, car 41 in the bronze medal position. Between him and Matt Kent, there's the gap over the last 5 laps. Noah Belleville, 1.6 seconds quicker than Matt Kent that last time around. Briley Wright on the racetrack trying to chase down Donald Ray with 45 laps to go in the Thursday Night Thunder season. Putting another eye on the Raiders game, they've scored another touchdown. It's 35-0 with 3:44 to go in the first half. If you pick Chargers, that was terrible. 35-0. When's the last time you saw numbers like this as Toby Estes, as Briley Wright nearly throws away the race car? Did you see him put 2 tires below that white line? It upset the car terribly. And that's right there before Briley just went around there. So Aiden Norman trying to chase down that 2.9. A 6-second gap is all that remains between Norman and Kent. Norman at the front of this race, 7.5 seconds, and now looking for drivers that are trying to make some ground up. Richie Catania just went green, though, 33.21 for the Orlando native. His quickest lap yet. He's trying to chase down Elridge George. Both he and George are 2 laps off the pace, separated by 5 seconds of racetrack. Tom Sears, 2 seconds, and climbing on Brandon Fetter Place. Sears gets to the inside of Ryan Pennell. Catania goes green again, 33.21, but just a little bit quicker. 3rd and 1 for the Chargers. They're trying to get the first down, and they're not going to get it. 3rd and 1. And that Chargers O-line was just dominated by the Raiders defense. So it's going to be 4th and 1 here, and the Chargers looking like they're going to go for it with 2:20 to go in the 4th quarter. They may just run the clock down to the 2-minute warning as well. 20 seconds left to go on the play clock. Matthew Kent decides he's finally going to come in on lap 99. So here's the deal. Matt Kent will have to go 51 laps to go to the end on fuel. I don't know that that's possible. But we'll find out. Again, I keep saying that's not possible, but I've been proved wrong many times before when I say that phrase. Elridge George behind James Kerr by 6 seconds. Ahead of Richie Catania by 6 seconds. Behind James Kerr by 1 second. These two continue to battle it out. 39 more laps remain in the Thursday Night Thunder season. Aiden Norman has led almost every single one of the 100 laps we've run so far, and he's on his way to a record-breaking 8th victory in the Thursday Night Thunder season finale. Norman, of course, says he's going to try and move on to the Contender Series next season in iRacing. So we won't have a defending champion in Season 8. Well, maybe we'll have a driver who wins 8 races and doesn't blink, but, you know, a guy can dream. It just blows my mind, just the kind of gap that Aiden Norman puts on the rest of this field, because this is a fantastic field. It is an unbelievably good field, a very strong I rating. And Aiden Norman just topping all of these guys, all of this talent. 7 seasons in TNT, 5 of those championships have been won between Aiden Norman and Tom Sears. You know, the history speaks for itself, but I think even when we get to 10 seasons, there are records that this particular guy has broken right here, Aiden Norman, that just still won't be broken, even when we go beyond season 10, when we go beyond season 20. It is, and it's not just that he's, obviously anybody can be good, but to sustain that for a 16-week commitment over 3 seasons, and it's not just 3 separate championships, it's 3 consecutive championships. Norman continues to impress week in and week out, and it really is, it's frustrating how good he is. You know what I mean? It's like when Jeff Gordon won all the time, when Jimmy Johnson won all the time. There were even people booing Dale Earnhardt when he won all the time. I think there was a stretch in the mid-2000s when Greg Biffle was winning everything there is to win. Joey Logano, for goodness sake. People hate him for no reason, but, you know, he wins all the time. Drivers that win a lot, they just draw. They draw the ire. They draw, you know, that look. But what can you do? I mean, it happens to every great winner that we see in every competition ever. And Aiden Norman just continues that list. Absolutely dominant. Tom Sears and Brandon Fetterplace will go at it again. 35 laps to go this time by in the Thursday Night Thunder season. Sears sits ahead of Fetterplace by half a second. Brandon Fetterplace, of course, fighting for third. He's already got the Rookie of the Year locked up. Toby Estes is the guy he's fighting for that third spot. There's the Drip Diecast and Collectibles points. And Toby coming into this race fourth, just 1 point behind Fetterplace. Done a great job so far, Toby. Fetterplace 0.6 of a second behind Tom Sears, and the Rookie of the Year also doing just a sensational job, just surprising people in and out as well. And looking forward to Season 8. I was talking to another ARCS driver, Josh Gaiman, in practice. He was saying that he's looking forward to racing with us in Season 8. So the incoming rookie class this year, one of the biggest we've had in TNT. And in this guy's case, one of the most successful, as the Cincinnati pilot shakes it hard out of turn 4, but so does Tom Sears. Fetterplace to the outside, and that's going to put him in 8th for the time being. Sears will now get to the inside of that 34, and these two are going to drag race again. Fetterplace by a car length. Definitely one of my favorite racetracks, Homestead-Miami. It's very scenic, isn't it? With the palm trees lining the back straight, and you see the trees through the corners as well. It's just a good-looking racetrack. It really is. Sears in that Supra tries to get ever closer to Brandon Fetterplace, but the 34 stretches a gap now of 1 second between them, coming to 31 laps to go. Aiden Norman plateauing at about 11 seconds between himself and Noah Belleville. Toby Estes behind second place by 11 seconds. 12 seconds ahead of Donald Ray, who's 4 seconds ahead of Briley Wright. So the top 4 all separated by 12 seconds, and then everybody else, relatively speaking, accordioned up to each other. Looking at the Raiders and the Chargers, 46 seconds to go in the second quarter. $111 laps, caution-free, and it's not surprising anymore when that happens, because around, season 5, we really started to notice that these drivers have a knack for having caution-free races. We've had caution-free races at Rockingham. We've had them, it looks like we're going to have one here at Homestead. But this group of drivers is just something special. It really is, and you just can't take away from that. Two configurations here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. They started racing in 1995 when it was a 1.5 mile quad oval. The Kart Championship Series had its first race here when the corners were banked at 6 degrees. It was meant to be a 1.5 mile Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 90 minutes away from Miami. And it was a good idea until it didn't work anymore after 1996, and they decided to turn it into the oval shape that you know today. But then I think in 2003, was it 2003 or 2006? Somebody who knows correct me, but in 03 or 06, they reconfigured it to the oval that we have now. I think we have progressive banking now through the corners. And we have this fantastic racetrack. I'd love to see IndyCar here again. I could understand why they don't, but it'd be awesome to see. But close to 30 years of history here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. 2 configurations. IMSA has raced here. They've had, I think, every kind of racing here that you could imagine. Has Rallycross been here? I'm not sure. The, Mazda Mondays was here in Season 1. I think the final was held here at Homestead. We put those little MX-5s. What in the world is Tom Sears doing? We put those little MX-5s around here on the oval. It was amazing. And I think Sears is coming in for his final pit stop of the day. 35 laps to go, and Tom Sears will open up the floodgates. Matt Kent will also come in. Jimmy Kerr III, now behind Tristan Catania by 0.2 of a second. Tommy Withers making his way up through the field. Let's see what Kerr has for the 48. .25 laps to go in car 75. Ahead of his New Jersey rival, Tristan Catania in the Vice City Chevrolet. Comes out behind Tom Sears, who's got fresh tires and good to go to the end. He'll need to go 38 laps on this set of tires to reach the end. It's going to be a tall order, considering most of the drivers have been doing 30 to 33 laps on a stint. Toby Estes now stationary. Brandon Fetterplace on the slow move, as is Tristan Catania in car 48. Aiden Norman still 11 seconds ahead of Noah Belleville. And looking to make his final Thursday Night Thunder pit stop. Not just for the season, but for good. Aiden Norman brings it down to 50 miles an hour. And the three-time champion making his last TNT stop. I won't say ever. He may come back, but for the foreseeable future, Aiden Norman will bring it to a halt one last time. New leader in car 41, Noah Belleville. .138 miles an hour for the Missouri pilot. Let me break this down to you. Aiden Norman came into the pits in the lead. He is now out of the pits in the second position. That's how far ahead he was, that he comes in first and out second under green flag pit stops. It is unbelievable what this guy can do. Tommy Withers moves into third now, as he's one of the few drivers who has yet to make his final pit stop. 22 laps to go in Season 7. Landon in the chat saying, I'll be there in Season 8. We'll see you, man. We will absolutely see you in Season 8. Fans, that TNT final round tonight, obviously, don't forget about the ARCS MX-5 Cup, or Mazda Mondays, as we like to call it. That's going to be kicking off Monday, January 22nd, 8:30, right here, Rick James TV. And then, of course, as always, Monday night, we have ENEA. Those next-gen cars are going to be racing, where are they racing? Texas? Come Monday night, they'll be racing in Texas. That Tom Sears? No, that's Noah Belleville who's coming into the pits. How about first place coming on down? So that means Aiden Norman moving 130 miles an hour quicker than Noah Belleville will shortly overtake him. And here comes Tommy Withers giving up fourth for fresh tires and enough fuel to finish the race. Donald Ray now up to fourth. Ray pitting on lap 116. He's good to go to the finish. Noah Belleville pitting on lap 120. He has tires that are 3 laps more fresh than Aiden Norman. If it comes down to a late race caution, that might just come to his advantage. But we've been caution-free for 120 laps. I'm not saying I wouldn't like to see a late race caution to see these guys bunched up. A little bit of drama out on the racetrack, but man, they have been racing caution-free for 120 laps. It would also be cool to see them go 140 laps without a yellow. Did Brandon Fetter place blink, or is he out of this one? There he is into the pits there. There's Jimmy Kerr, the third, also coming down into the pits, making his last stop of the season. It hurts to say this. 3 cars are left on the lead lap. Toby Estes entering turn number 3. He's half a lap down to Aiden Norman, who's now exiting turn number 2. More than half a lap down if that timing is accurate. 17-second gap from first to second. Aiden Norman just, we say the D word all the time, dominance. But even with a messed up right front, he's still incredibly dominant at the front of this race. It's awesome to watch. Driver still fighting for position, however. Briley Wright, 4/10 ahead of a second. 4/10 of a second ahead of Matt Kent. Wright in 5th, Matt Kent in 6th. Matt Kent looking to do something that he couldn't do last week, which is finish the race on at least one of his 4 wheels. Last week, Matt Kent going upside down and finishing the race at Talladega with his wheels pointing towards the sky as he crossed the finish line. Awesome finish, by the way. Toby Estes got the win. So yet another win for the Bluegrass Bandits. Just sensational work. And it's actually a really cool finish. You can see photos of it on Rick James TV Twitter and Thursday Night Thunder Twitter. So check that out. Tommy Withers went green last time around, 33:02, his personal best of the afternoon. All right. So we've got lucky number 13 laps to go next time by. 13 more laps in the Thursday Night Thunder season. Donald Ray running in 4th. Riley Wright sitting in 5th. There's Matt Kent in the 6th position. Trying to catch up to Wright in that 2.9. Belleville in the 41. Now 0.8 of a second ahead of Toby Estes, and these last 12 laps are going to be fun because Toby has tires that are 4 laps more old than Noah. We'll see just how close these guys can get to each other. Estes, 0.3 of a second ahead of Noah Belleville, and they're going to fight with inside of the last 11 laps of racing on board with the 41. 9 at the line. 9 more laps in Season 7. 9 more laps for Aiden Norman to get his record-breaking 4th victory. Tristan Catania in the 48, coming up behind Ryan Pinnell in the 12. Not for position, however. The Fort Lauderdale native running in 13th. Just trying to finish this race. Elridge George from Nassau in the Bahamas. I suppose you could call this his home race. Running in 12th. 1.5 seconds behind another Floridian, Ricardo Catania, in the 2-4 DuPont Chevrolet. Richie trying to hold on to that 11th spot. Jimmy Kerr the 3rd and Tristan Catania now going to fight about it. This is for 9th. Catania sitting in 9th. Jimmy Kerr in 10th. 2/10 the difference between them. Here comes Kerr up the racetrack. Pinnell's in the wall. They go 3 wide. Is Catania going to make it? Pinnell just comes off that wall, and they nearly avoid an accident. In the meantime, Elridge George passed Richie Catania. Check this out. About Tristan Catania almost buying the farm out of turn number 4. Everybody makes it through mostly without incident. Ryan Pinnell in 13th. Tristan Catania in 10th. Jimmy Kerr 2 seconds ahead in 9th. How about that for almost seeing the first caution of the day on lap 132 of the scheduled 140. Catania in the 48, now just trying to regain his composure and catch back up to Kerr. Kerr sitting in that 9th spot. Now 1 second behind Tom Sears, who's trying to keep the car off the wall, I hope. Sears trying to hold on to 8th, but it looks like he's also trying to catch up to Noah Belleville. Not for position, however. Belleville's running in 3rd. That is the funniest thing I've seen all season. That just that Mario helmet and race suit is the funniest thing I've seen all season. That or maybe one of, I have no idea, but that's hilarious. I absolutely love that. And Noah Belleville running in 3rd right now with that awesome race suit. 3 more laps to go in the season. Aiden Norman plateauing at a 17-second gap ahead of Toby Estes. Certainly one of the biggest gaps we've seen all season. I think he might have even lapped the field in one of his 7, soon-to-be 8 victories this season. And Norman, again, we've said everything that there is to say. Hopefully he just doesn't wreck it before the end of the race here. We'll see what happens. 17 seconds the gap between 1st and 2nd. 6.8 seconds from 2nd to 3rd. Completely forgot the Chargers and the Raiders were on. But it's not good if you haven't seen the score. The Raiders are putting almost an unfair whooping on the Chargers. Raiders are up 42-0 in the first half of this game. So if the Chargers do come back, it is going to be one of the greatest comebacks in the history of any competition. And it, well, anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. Aiden Norman still has not guaranteed to win this race. There's less than 3 miles to go, and Norman gets into the wall big time. What just happened here? The blink of the century for Aiden Norman. Check this out. Yeah, it just blinks right going into turn number 1, and there he is. Look at the deck lid fly off that race car. So Norman's coming to the white flag, and he's got another 1.5 miles to make it without getting ejected for a terrible internet connection. The final lap of Season 7 at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. It is going to be 8 wins for Aiden Norman. 8 wins. It will be a record-setting 8 wins. He has clinched his 3rd consecutive Thursday Night Thunder Championship, the only driver to win 3, the only driver to win 3 straight, the only driver to win 8 races in a TNT season, and he will crown himself champion again at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Norman wins TNT. Tommy Withers, 0.7 of a second ahead of Noah Belleville. They're going to fight it out. Tom Sears, he's trying to get one more over on Jimmy Kerr. 0.8 the gap. Sears will put it high up into the turn 4 wall, just avoiding making contact. Jimmy Kerr with the 8th spot. Matt Kent will finish in 6th. 1 second ahead of Tommy Withers, who's on the inside wall. Aiden Norman will come off of turn number 4 and claim his 3rd. Sorry, damn it. It wouldn't be a TNT season without one more mistake, right? His 3rd consecutive TNT title. Aiden Norman is your champion. Fans at home, don't go anywhere. We're going to have podium interviews in just a moment. On the podium now with your top 3 in the last race of the season. Defending champion Aiden Norman, now 3-time champion. 3-time winner this season? Toby Estes sitting in 2nd, and then 4-time winner this season, Noah Belleville. Just a sensational season for each one of these drivers. Let's start with 3rd place, Noah Belleville. A part-time season for you, man. But you're still going to end up finishing 14th in the points with an average finish of 5th and 4 wins this season. When are we going to see a full-time TNT season out of you?
Hey, maybe next season. You never know.
You said that last season.
That's why I said I never know. I might say it now, but we never know. I'm gonna try.
We'll see. I mean, a great race nonetheless. A bronze medal for you tonight. 4 wins in this TNT season. It's been a pleasure, man. Congratulations, and we expect to see you at the end of January for Season 8.
Yep, thank you.
Silver medalist tonight, Toby Estes. 2 wins this season, and you hang on to that 3rd spot in the points unofficially. You beat Brandon Fetterplace to the line by 12 points, and that prize money is yours, man. A great season for you, too.
Yeah, missed some races early in the beginning of the season and kind of had to fight my way back into the points, but all around a good season for me. I mean, honestly, take a top 3 at any time. I mean, able to, scrap 2 wins out of Aiden's 50 or whatever it was this season. So, yeah, all around a good season, though, and pretty fun.
A comeback season for the Bluegrass Bandits as well. I mean, we're talking, 4 wins between you guys in the span of the last, let's see here, 3-4 races. Well, no, I shouldn't say that, but in about the last 5 or 6 races of the season, the Bluegrass Bandits managed 4 wins. Just a fantastic end of the season, man. We'll see you guys back in Season 8 in January.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, Rick.
3rd time, champ, and the last time for the foreseeable future. But 3 straight titles, 8 wins in a season, and the single season record is now yours. what a mark you've left on TNT.
Yeah, I mean it's been fun. That was a great season there, especially on my end. Obviously, starting out the season really strong, and then kind of fell off after I had the infamous incident at Michigan. But we come back there for the end and got us that last win. So
That was the
happy
turning
to
point,
break the
really.
record.
You take a look
It
at
was.
Michigan. How did the season go? It went Michigan, Atlanta, and then no, Michigan, Rockingham, and Atlanta. So it went Michigan, Rockingham, and Atlanta. 3 straight wins for the Bluegrass Bandits, and then a 4th win 2 weeks later at the Talladega Superspeedway. So, what is it? In 7 weeks, you managed to win 3 out of the last 7 races. Was it something like that? No, not even, because Noah Belleville won at
No,
Martinsville.
yeah.
You didn't win at Talladega. So, really, in the last 7 races, I think you managed 1 win, which is, in any 7-race stretch, has to be the lowest winning percentage of any TNT champion, man. But please, 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 do shout us out and let us know when you make it big time. And for now, it's goodbye. But definitely we're going to see you sometime in TNT's illustrious future, man. But congratulations on an awesome season.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Rick. I appreciate the broadcast. I know this is my favorite series to go back and watch every week. It's just really enjoyable broadcast, even when you're talking to your cats. It's actually Philip's pretty awesome. I'd say he's a better broadcaster than you. So but
He's a
yeah,
chip off
I
the old
just
block,
appreciate
man.
all the work. You taught him everything you know.
That's my boy. Hey,
Yeah, I appreciate all the work you put in for TNT, Lurkin, Tommy as well, both of them, and yeah.
It is a labor of love, and for Aiden Norman and everybody that does all the work here at TNT, thank you so much. That goes to Tom Sears, that goes to Thomas Andrews, who couldn't be here for tonight's race, but we're going to see him in Season 8 as well. For all the fans that have ever watched a single lap of TNT racing, I thank you. Another successful season, 7 seasons that we've now completed since 2020, and we're not going to stop anytime soon, and we really, really do appreciate you folks being with us for every lap of competition. It is a labor of love that we will continue to do while there is breath in our bodies, for the love of racing, for the love of competition, and for the love of each other, because we are all fantastic friends in this league, and we continue to give 16 weeks at a time to our passion, and we will continue to do so with these beautiful Gen 4 cars and these amazing paint schemes, many of which you can find over at Drip Diecast and Collectibles. Head on over there. It's not too late to get your Christmas gifts. Head on over to Drip Diecast and Collectibles. Get your piece of NASCAR memorabilia. It is your #1 Facebook store for NASCAR memorabilia. Drip Diecast and Collectibles. Head over there now. And until that next race to begin Season 8, everybody, please stay safe. Do take care of each other, and you bet your ass that we will see you all around